Hello, welcome to ENCORE. Thanks for joining us today. With Vintage Vegas, the Leaning Tower of Pizza and long-lost colour film of Fellini's 8½, today we're taking you to the south of France for the Arles Photography Festival. Among the 250 artists showing is Thierry Bouët, whose witty photos capture strange items for sale online alongside their sellers. He's here in the studio, as is France 24's Olivia Salazar Winspear, who'll be telling us about this year's other standout exhibitions. Hey, Olivia, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. Hello. Now, Arles is the rendezvous for photography, not just in France, but in the world. Why is it so important, Thierry?
Well, it's important because Arles value your work, and the profession of photography has, difficulties to be understood by the people. So Arles just pull, all this media of photography, which is a little bit, it's not so easy like the movie, the music, where everybody has his own opinion. To have an opinion about photography, it's quite difficult. But I always appreciate when I just have conversation with amateurs.
Okay, well, there's thousands of things on show. Apart from the photos on the poster all being upside down, Olivia, what's new this year?
Well, there was a small revolution in the poster, like you say, but there's been a larger change within the administration of Arles. There's a new artistic director this year, that's Sam Storze. He's taking over from François Ebel, who was at the head of the festival for 13 years, so it's quite a big job. Now, the consensus is, among the people who I spoke to in Arles, that there's been no great change with previous years. Sam Storze has made some quite classic choices, for example, a retrospective of Walker Evans' work, Walker Evans being one of the founding fathers of modern American photography, street photography, and someone who really went on to influence most of the important 20th century photographers, Diane Arbus, Robert Frank, and even some of the contemporary photography that we actually see on show in Arles this year, someone like Stephen Shaw. You can see the link between Walker Evans and him. So you do have an homage to one of the greats, a reference in photography, but Sam Storze said that he wants the Rencontre d'Arles, or the Arles Photo Festival, to be an inventory, to take stock of what is contemporary photos, what is contemporary photography today. So there's a lot of current work, a lot of ongoing projects, and new and emerging talents.
Okay, and Thierry, I'm sure you haven't seen all of the exhibitions, but which one did you like best out of those you've seen?
Well, I loved the exhibition about the records. So all this collection that have been made about all the history of the records, I think it was it is very important that we realize today that at this period the big photographers and big designers, big artistic person, even on the Warhol, for example, worked on the covers of the records. And the way it's done also is very well done by the curator Sam Storze, because he just tells stories in the story of the records.
Okay, and there's lots of music featuring this year.
Music was a big theme. I think Sam Storze must be a music fan, because like you said, this Total Records show, we saw the creativity in this tiny little square from 75 years of record sleeve covers, which was really quite impressive. There was another show on that was actually a collaboration around music between Martin Parr, the British photographer, and Mathieu Chédid, who he's known as M here in France. He's a composer, singer, musician. Now, what it is, they came together and created a kind of audio-visual experience where Martin Parr's photos are projected or shown, displayed, with compositions of Mathieu Chédid at the same time accompanying this visual experience. And you can sit down. It's in a beautiful church in Arles, so it's very atmospheric. You can sit down or lie down. It creates this whole very specific atmosphere. And I saw quite a lot of young children, teenagers taking part in that. So I wonder if it's an attempt to make the festival a little bit more accessible for people who are not necessarily photography insiders, but might be music lovers or just interested in this kind of pop culture.
Okay, well, the weird and the wonderful always feature as well in Arles. Thierry, your exhibition is called Personal Affairs. You met with people selling items on Le Bon Coin, which is the French version of Craigslist. You took pictures of vendors with their wares. We'll talk about some of the funny stories and amusing stories in a moment, but first, let's take a look. Now, Thierry, in the past, you've taken portraits of well-known people like the dancer Blanca Lee and the chef Alain Passard. But in this series, Personal Affairs, it's anonymous people. How did it come about? Why did you do this?
Well, the idea came to me when I was in my studio, and a member of my studio received a mail from a friend of him. It was a joke, and he just wanted him to follow him in a new life. It was a picture of a restaurant in the center of France, and he was asking, "Can we change our life?" And then I discovered that with one click on your computer, you could buy a restaurant or any kind of things. So I just had immediately the reflex to go to Le Bon Coin, which I've heard about it. And I discovered the incredible offer you have on this website. You can really buy anything you have in your imagination.
And indeed, one of the things you say, that the choice is extremely varied. I saw one of your photographs of this yellow plane. That was a hand-built plane, and it was on sale for, I think, 32,000 euros. How do you go about approaching a person and saying you want to buy their plane?
Yes. When I call them, because it's very easy, you have the number, on the announce, so you can talk directly to the seller, and I just ask him some question about his plane, and then I told him, well, I'm not interested by buying your plane, but I want to make a picture of it because I'm doing a work on that, and usually the people accepted. Not for the photography, but more to be gentle with you. And most of them told me, if I can, be kind with you, I'll do it.
That's what an incredible story. Well, at Arles, it's not just new work like Thierry's on show. There's lots of archives too.
Yes, every year they try and bring up some kind of gems from the archive. I suppose it's part of our education in history of art and photography, so we can discover new stuff. But one show that really impressed me this year was called Another Language, about 8 Japanese photographers. Now, the collection was put together by Simon Baker. He's the curator at the Tate Modern. It's about 200 photographs, many of which have never been shown in Europe. There are famous names. Daido Moriyama is one of the more famous Japanese photographers. But there are people completely unknown. For example, for me, a great discovery was Masahisa Fukaze. He creates series of photographs that are almost like a graphic novel or almost like telling a story. There's this real narrative force. It's very much storytelling in photography. But you also have street photography, formal studies, all sorts of different things. So it's very exciting to see these new perspectives from Japan, which aren't really new at all.
And of the 35 or so exhibits that are on show, do you have a favourite?
I have a favourite, yes. One show that really surprised me. I didn't think this was going to be my favourite because it was a strange show. It's called The Heavens by Paolo Woods and Gabriele Gamberti. It's a series of photographs taken in tax havens. So you've got places like the British Virgin Islands, Jersey, Delaware, Hong Kong. The photos show the people who live and work there and the landscapes. But really, what it tells you is it's a kind of visual voyage into banking secrecy and tax avoidance and the whole financial system. It's a sort of journalistic, it's a social commentary, and you would think that it's not a very photogenic subject, these places.
No, it doesn't sound, it sounds dull, actually.
In fact, but you see a lot more than just these kind of pristine beaches in the British Virgin Islands and the inside of banks. You see a lot about our modern world, really, and it's fascinating. It's really a different approach to portrait and reportage, I suppose, photography. So that's one I definitely recommend, simply because they had access to these places, which is normally impossible, very secret places.
There's so many exciting things to see. Olivia, thank you so much for coming in and telling us about the highlights in Arles. And Thierry Bouët, thank you for telling us about your exhibition, Personal Affairs, which is on at the Arles Photo Festival until the 20th of September. Now, we're going to leave you with Malkovich, 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 Homage to Photographic Masters, another exhibition in Arles. The pictures are taken by Sandro Miller, and the actor John Malkovich embodies and honours those who influenced Miller's career. Remember our website. We're also on Twitter and Facebook. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.